This is Brad Aaronsfield and Vicente Alvarado for UCT Direct Fitness. This is your training tip of the week. On this week's segment, we're going to cover the three-quarter choke. There's a lot of variations that are out there. This is the technique, the way that I like to teach it. To start out on this three-quarter, he's attempted to take down, and for whatever way that I have avoided this takedown, he shoots in, I've hit a sprawl in whatever fashion. Now I'm going to turn the corner on this technique, turn the corner right here, and my lead hand is going to go to the back of his neck. When I place this hand at the back of his neck, really my index point is the center of my wrist. It's going to be almost where his spine is, and I just lay my hand right across his neck. The next part of this technique is this hand right here. It's going to reach up underneath his inside arm in this position here. I'm going to reach up and make contact with this hand. Don't reach this hand to this one. Take this hand up to here. Now in this technique, your thumbs are going to be out, but I'm going to grab a hold of this hand, palm to palm in this fashion right here. Then I'm going to roll this hand back in this fashion. So I've turned the corner, laid this hand on top, this hand shoots right underneath, makes contact, and then I bring this hand together. The whole technique works by bringing my elbows together. So bringing my elbows together, now I have the choke. Now it's not a full choke because I can't close off both sides, but it maintains control over his neck, and I'm closing off the other side. And when we're done, I'll show you how to get this from the side mount, and I'll show you a couple little different variations. Once you start to implement this technique, your opponent, a lot of time, if he doesn't know the counters to this technique, he'll go with how he's in his body position, which is his head is down, and it's common for them, jiu-jitsu or judo guys, to try to roll through on this technique. That's okay. The key to this, once I have this, and he starts to roll, is to let him roll. Take him flat to his back, and now bridge up on your head, and I put my hip against his head, and I can complete this manipulation the same way by pulling with my hand and pushing my hip into his head the opposite direction, pushing his head in two different directions. Still not the choke. It's cutting down on the blood, it's cutting down on the airway, but it's a pain manipulation as well. So once again, grab it, he rolls, I let him roll, I bridge, place my hip into it, and still apply the same choke. If you don't get the submission on this technique, and they're fighting through it, they'll try to roll back to their original position. Good for them. Let them roll back, because once I'm in here and I'm applying my hip, he goes to roll back, let him roll, because the tendency is this technique's even tighter now. Stay with him, stay with the technique, keep him in the same position, let him roll back to the beginning, hold your position, bring your elbows together. You're still applying the technique. Now, remember on this technique, we have other variations that we can use to help you get the submission. One of the tools I like right here is I bring my knee up in between my elbows and I place it right at the jawline, right at the base of the ear on the mandibular angle or the jawline, and I apply the technique this way. Push it in, take my knee, shove it in, and pull on the opposite side of the neck. If he tries to block it, which sometimes they'll do, and I can't quite get this knee in, I can switch, I can pull him forward, I can bring my back knee in, and I can shove it in at that angle the same way. Also, don't forget, in non-MMA type stuff, I don't have to just stick with placing my knee against his face. I can turn the corner, and I have knee strikes to the top of the head, right here. I can set him up in this fashion by bringing him up and down and place him in here to open him up a little bit because he's going to have to bring his hands away. Then I can go back, finish with the technique. Now our last variation for this segment is I can get this technique, same technique from the side mount. He reaches up to grab, I pass this arm the same way. I pass it by and I underhook it. Place this hand the same way, I reach in, now I can take him to home where I know I can roll him all the way back up if I want to, or I can keep him in this position right here, maintain my knee on belly, I can bring my knee up, I can place it, I can post my head, I can place that knee, I can knee strike, I can stay in this position, drop knee strikes the same way in a non-MMA event, but I still have all the same options from the side mount. You don't necessarily have to get it when he's on all fours. I hope you like that. This is Brad Aaronsfield with Vicente Alvarado for UCT Direct Fitness. This is your training tip of the week.